Greetings, math fans. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to do some application problems, and I have a nice little friendly worksheet that I made up for you, and we're just going to go through all these different problems. Now I'm telling you, what you want to do is when you're doing these problems, you want to have, or when you're doing the homework, you want to have the sheet in front of you, okay? Because these problems are exactly like the homework, and let's just kind of talk about this. All right. So the deal is we're trying to create an equation for each of these guys, and then we're going to plug some numbers into the equation and actually come up with a final solution, all right, for some of them. Okay, so the first one here, it says a car rental charges a flat fee of $70 plus $9 a day. So what they're pretty much saying is you go to rent a car, and they're just to put gas in it, to wash the car and everything, they're going to charge you $70. And then there's a rental fee of $9 per day. Okay, a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, when you see $9 per day, okay, $9 per day, okay, that is going to be it's 9 times some value. All right, and if you look at it says what is your total charge? Okay, so we're going to have two variables here. It's a little more complicated than before, because before we only had one variable we solved. Now we have two variables. So you have your total charge and you have the number of days. And so this is the deal. It's $9 per day. So that's kind of like your variable cost. We call that a variable cost. And $70 is called a fixed cost. Because if I rent it for 1,000 days, I'm still paying just $70 just to pull it out of the parking lot. Okay, but it's every day it's costing me $9 more. So my equation is y equals $9 per day, and when you think about the per, you're going to be thinking of multiplication. Okay, so $9 per day plus $70 is a fixed cost. All right, I hope that makes sense, because again, the variable is changing. It's changing as the number of days change, okay, but it's always going to be a flat fee of $70 to rent that car. So that's your equation, and that's the first part. And then it says what's your total charge if you need it for 7 days. Well, that's just going to be y equals 9 times 7 plus 70. So y equals 63 plus 70, and that's equal to 133. So don't forget your units, and your units are dollars. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, number 2, write an equation in point slope form to model the total earnings y in dollars in terms of x, the number of hours. Your rate for washing cars is $6 an hour, or per hour. You earn $42 in 7 hours. So this is the deal, math fans. We've talked about you're given a slope and you're given a point. Come up with an equation. We talked about given 2 points, finding the equation. So what do you do with 2 points? You find the slope first, and then you use one of those 2 points. So we're going to use one of those two. Either I'm going to give you a slope, which was actually like number 1, where the slope was 9, or I give you 2 points. Now in this case here, I am giving you 2 points. So I know it says here your rate is, I'm giving you a rate of $6 an hour. Okay, and that's really kind of like Okay, number 2. Write an equation in point slope form to model the total earnings y in dollars in terms of x, the number of hours. So I actually tell you which one x is and which one y is. That's kind of nice. Your rate, okay, rate is always going to be, it's always going to be a slope. Okay, that's what a slope is. Your rate for washing cars is $6 per hour. So here it's basically m is equal to 6. And you earned $42 in 7 hours. Now this is the deal, math fans. We've been working with giving you 2 points. You figure out a slope and then you come up with an equation. Or I hand you a slope and a point and you come up with an equation, right? Put it in point slope form. Well, that's what you want to look for all these problems that we're going to be doing. Am I giving you 2 points? Am I giving you a point and a slope? And then you're coming up with an equation. Well, again, I'm telling you it's a rate, it's $6 per hour, $6 an hour. That is going to be your variable cost. And then you earned $42 in 7 hours. Now remember, this is, if you look at the information, it's y is in dollars and x is the number of hours. Okay? So it's going to be number of hours, which is 7, comma, $42. So this is the deal, math fans. I just gave you a slope and I gave you a point, and I want you to come up with an equation. That's really, really easy now, isn't it? In fact, I asked you in point slope form. So there's like so little work. Watch this. Y minus 42 equals mx, or times x minus 7. There we go, math fans. That's the answer to this problem. That's an equation in point slope form. Okay, that's pretty easy. Okay, so let's look at number 3. It says write an equation in point slope form to model the total bill y in dollars in terms of x, the number of notebooks. You bought 7 notebooks for $14.70 on Monday. Your friend bought 3 notebooks for $6.30 on Friday. Well, I don't have a rate here. What you should see is that I actually have 2 points. Okay, remember x is the number of notebooks, so there's an x, and y is the cost. That's for me. Okay, and then my friend has 3 notebooks. That's another x and y. So I call that x1, y1, x2, y2. And then what do? You find the slope. Okay, it's really easy. So m equals negative, negative, and then it's y2, so 630 minus 1470 over x2, so 3 minus 7. Okay, that gives me negative 8.4. Again, use your calculator, I don't care, over negative 4, and I reduce that, it's 2.1. And guys, when we're talking about money, usually it's going to be a nice little friendly decimal. Okay, we're talking, and most other things, it's a lot of times just a fraction, but this is going to be a decimal. All right, and so we have 2 points. We have this x1, y1. We have this x2, y2. So we have to put it in point slope form. Which point do we use? It doesn't matter. They're both right answers. So if I use x1, y1, I get y minus 14.70 equals m, which is 2.1, times x minus 6. X minus 7. Okay? It's one answer. That's pretty mellow. Okay? And of course, or it could be which one? It could use the other point. Instead of 14.7, I could say y minus 6.30 equals 2.1 times x minus 3. Okay? So either one of those is correct. They're both in point slope form. Of course, if I wanted to put it in slope-intercept form, I'd have to distribute the 2.1 and then add either the 14.7 or 6.3. Okay, number 4, write an equation in slope-intercept form. So now, be careful, right? Slope-intercept form to model the total charge y in dollars in terms of x, the number of rides. Okay, the carnival charges a flat rate fee of $4 to enter plus $1.25 per ride. Okay, that's pretty key here, math fans. $1.25 per ride. That's your slope. So y is equal to $1.25 x plus $4. Right? This is your variable cost, this is your fixed cost. And so this is it. I didn't have to do too much here. Okay? I kind of gave you everything, because again, this is your variable right here. Because it says that much per ride, and this is your fixed cost. Okay, that's number 4. All right, let's look at number 5. A daycare charges a $40 fee for activities plus $1.30 per week. Write an equation in slope-intercept form to model this equation, then find the total charge for 8 weeks or for 10 weeks. And I even tell you y is the total charge, and x is the number of weeks. This is just like the last one. It's $40 fee just for activities, no matter how much. So this is going to be fixed, and they're charging me $130 a week. So it's my variable. So y is equal to 130 x plus 40. Okay, that's the equation. Pretty easy. Then it says, the second part says, then find the total charge for 10 weeks. Well, remember, x is the number of weeks, so I plug in 10 for x. So 130 times 10 plus 40. Okay, so that's going to be 1,300. Y is equal to $1,340. Okay, don't forget your units. Okay, it's not too bad. All right, number 6. At 7:30 a.m. I leave for school. This is a kind of a tricky problem, so pay attention to this one. You're going to see this on a worksheet also. It's the exact same problem. 7:30 a.m. I leave for school, which is 9 miles away. At 8 a.m. I am 6 miles away. Write an equation in slope-intercept form to model the situation, and then find the distance I'm away from the school after 20 minutes. Okay, so I always give you I give you enough information to come up with an equation, and then once you do that, then you have 20 minutes for your time, and you figure out the distance away. All right, so anyway, you're looking at going, well, I don't really see any point. I have 7:30. Do I write 7:30 as my time? It's a little tricky, but what you're doing is at 7:30 is like time 0, right? I'm starting at this time. So I'm going to say 7:30 is really time is equal to 0. So of course x is time, so x equals 0 at 7:30. And I'm 9 miles away. So y is 9. At 8 o'clock, do you guys agree that time is now, it's 8 o'clock, so it's 30 minutes later. So if I start at 0, and it's now 30. So of course x is 30. And now I'm 6 miles away. So those are my coordinates. I have 0, 9 and 30, 6. Okay, so then when I find my slope, I get m is equal to y2 minus y1, so 9 and 6 and 0 and 30. So 9 minus 6 is 3, 0 minus 30 is negative 30. That gives me negative 1/10. That's my slope. All right, and it asked me to, what form am I supposed to put this in? I'm supposed to put this in an equation in slope-intercept form. There we go. Okay, so we need to put it in point-slope form first, right? No big deal. So we're going to do y, and let's just use, which point do you want to use? You want to use that one? Now I'm going to give you a little hint here, math fans. Isn't 0, 9, isn't that the y-intercept? 0, 9. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind, but I'm going to use the second point just for the heck of it. Okay, y minus 6 equals negative 1/10 times x minus 30. So you get y minus 6 equals negative 1/10 x. Negative 1/10 times negative 30 is positive 3. Now we're going to add 6 to both sides. So you get y is equal to negative 1/10 x plus 9. That's my slope-intercept form. And there it is, math fans. See that 9? I could have just drawn that right in there, plus 9. Okay, so that's your y-intercept. But we use the other point, no big deal. Could have used either point, and we would have gotten the same answer. So that's my equation in slope-intercept form. And then my question asks for find the distance I am away from the school after 20 minutes. So now what you're going to do is you're going to set x equal to 20 and just solve. So y equals negative 1/10 times 20 plus 9. So that gives me 1/10 of 20 is 2 or negative 2, of course, plus 9. So y equals 7. Okay, and again, find the distance. So it is miles. That's the answer to that problem. Okay, a little tricky, but you know, just remember the starting time is 0 time, and then you look to see how many minutes have passed. Come up with a point. Okay, last one. Parasailing Company A charges a flat fee of $1.10 plus $1.20 per minute. Ah, yes, per minute. Okay, that's going to be my variable, and this is going to be fixed. Parasailing Company B charges a flat fee of $90, so again, that's my fixed, and they charge $1.70 per minute. Okay, so that's going to be my variable cost. So let's figure this out here. What you're trying to do is under what conditions would the cost of parasailing from either company be the same? Okay, the key word here, math fans, is the same. When are they going to be the same? So we have two equations. Don't you guys agree the first equation is y equals 110 plus $1.20 per minute? That's your variable. And that's the first equation. So that's Parasailing Company A. And then for Company B, it's y equals $90 plus $1.70 a minute. And then it says, where would they be the same? Well, if they're the same, then you set them equal to each other. 110 plus 1.20x equals 90 plus 1.70x. And then you solve for x. Now again, use your calculator. I don't care because you got decimals. So I'm going to move the 90 over. So I get 20 plus 1.20x equals 1.70x, and then subtract 1.20. So I wound up getting 0.5 equals 20. And divide by 0.5. Again, use your calculator, I don't care. X comes out to be 40. So remember what X represents is it's $1.20, and then it's per minute. So X is minutes. Okay, so that's our answer. They'd be the same cost after 40 minutes. So the deal is, if you notice, Parasailing Company B charges less money to start up, but they charge you more per minute. So if you're going to go out for an hour, it's going to cost you less if you go with Company A. Okay, that's like 40 minutes is the break-even point. That's when it's cheaper. But for Company A, they charge you a flat fee, but if you go a longer period of time, it's less per minute. So that'd be your better deal. Now, if you're only going to go out there for half an hour, then Parasailing Company number or letter B is the better deal because they charge you a lower fixed cost, but you're not going out for as much time, so that's kind of cheaper. All right, so that's it. I hope you guys understand this stuff. It's really not that bad. It's just kind of looking for your fixed and variable cost, and that should be it. All right, have this handy when you're doing your homework, math fans. Have a good day. Goodbye.